G'day fellow creatures of the internet. This is the most must-see and subscribed Argonian on YouTube / online ambassador of Black Marsh, Bruzo Dragonius, right here in Green Shade in the Altmore Dominion. To be more specific than that, I'm south of Morbrook, like in some caves south of Morbrook. And the reason why I'm here is because I am going to not only do the last ever chapter for 2021 that's out, which is Deadlands, but right behind me in this cave is the portal to Maynard's Dagon's Plane of Oblivion, that is Fargrave. I'm going to go in it momentarily, and I'm going to show you my experiences as well as tell them in this review. But however, since that this is the time before that I'm doing this, I'm going to end up doing, trying to save the world from Maynard's Dagon. And of course I'm going to tell you about it in this review. So yeah, like I said, Bruzo, before this review started, could you please roll the intro? The final DLC of Elder Scrolls Online of 2021 hardly sets out anywhere in Tamriel, nor even anywhere in Noon, but mainly in the two planes of Oblivion, that is Fargrave and of course Deadlands, that is the place this DLC is named after. And yet, I said in the intro that the portal that I stand in front of is leading to Maynard's Dagon's realm, that is the Deadlands. But that is before I stepped through the portal in Greenshade. In fact, this portal didn't take me directly to the actual Deadlands, but to Fargrave. And I needed to access most of the Deadlands via Fargrave. And that portal is in fact leading me to the outside of the city centre in that Demoplane, or outskirts if you were to call it that, where I thought I was going to meet Lyrinth. Instead, her masked followers that calls herself the Anchorite. She's a very secretive woman indeed, for a sort of a good reason. She doesn't even know how much about herself, but we both end up knowing later that in this DLC that it will tell all of you her secrets as well as the storylines. So I want a spoiler alert to those that haven't finished yet, or yet to play that part. As a gateway to the Deadlands, Fargrave is a somewhat neutral and mostly peaceful plane of Oblivion that isn't really a plane that is a domain of any Daedric prince, but instead is a place of peace and more like the coexistence between the Daedra and the mortals. Kind of like how Lilmoth in Murkmire is a village in Black Marsh without the specific local Argonian tribe nor history within the area. As the portal take you as far as the outskirts of the gated CBD or downtown Fargrave, but however, there is another portal that takes you directly into the city, but only from Leowin in Blackwood. Fargrave is like a desert for its environmental appearance, but coming into the gated city itself is sort of vertical and so high in some parts like Markarth, but more of a Redguard style architecture to make up the desert Hammerfell. Not to mention that there are features in the cities like a bazaar that you get through to access the workstation, or a crafting plaza. Has a bit of an ethnic feel of Southern Asia, and it should make me feel like I'm in another dimension with all the gelatinous bubbles, crystals, and books floating around in various places. But because it's a gateway between Nerd and Oblivion, that feels like it looks like purgatory. Not all of it is as peaceful. As with every city comes with a ghetto where there is a place full of more hostile and, well, as unwelcoming and dodgy characters call home. In the ghetto of Fargrave I'm referring to is a shambles that is on the other side of the Crossing Plaza, can be accessible also from the Outlaw's Refuge in some inn called the Fargrave Foodstuffs. Inside the shambles live some corrupted characters that are hostile Daedra and some raking flame cultists that will attack you on sight. I've been there myself and I experienced firsthand about it. Now back in the city, there is not only a portal to Blackwood, but there are two other portals between the Blackwood portal that takes you to both sides of the Deadland itself. One takes you to the southwestern part that is a plain called the Burn, a literal and biblical embodiment of hell itself, complete with fire and bodies of lava in all areas where normally there's water, and a Sever in the northeast where it's not only as gloomy as the other side of the Deadlands, but it's dark and stormy consistently all the time, where you are most prone to get struck by lightning in random places. And not only that, but you know the portals that pop up in random places in the random times in Blackwood? Well, with the Deadlands update to ESO, seeing that the portals to other places of the Deadlands, they renamed the random event places as a toll of immolation. That place is now a public dungeon without any given quest giver in this DLC, and the only one of it as well. There are some things to do in Fargrave, but however I find the majority of quests, including most side quests like the daily quest given to me by House Hexos, including both dells and world bosses. For both of these planes, I have an impression that time there is non-existent, and it's always night time in Fargrave, same as is in the Deadlands. Not like everything throws on the one spot, as that there are NPCs still moving in their environment, doing their own stuff. But as to where out of the two zones I would feel comfortable in, it would be in Fargrave. Lucky for me, there's a mansion in Fargrave which you can buy that, so I would love to have if the on-game NFT called Crowns isn't a matter. There is another tower like that I like in the Sever, which you can purchase as well, and even though I like that, I question the motive of residing there, unless you are evil or Daedra. But interestingly enough, there's a bit of a sentiment that mortal beings coexist and reside with the Daedra called the Wretched Spire. And it's like a community with everything you need, like a merchant and inn. Besides Leomith and the Anchorite, I have met interesting characters like the Ash Titan in the body of a Daedrak named Arox the Mutilator. I met this guy in a cage as a Daedrak in a villa in Fargrave as a collector's item. And the reason that he was in it in a form of a rodent is because he is somehow cursed. I find him adorable as a Daedrak, and he is the only Daedric being that called me a master after freeing him from the cage to help of Leomith and the mysterious Anchorite. He is more of a friend to me than Leomith ever was, and the way he behaves and talks to people, that's not meant to be cute like I thought. He told me that he used to work with Dagon as an overseer at the Blood Pit when he introduced himself to me. And he's not being the type of guy that barks threats without biting. Once he becomes his true form, he is massive as hell. Ash Titan. He is even more dangerous, so once you get beaten by him as a Daedra, despite the pain and wound that you get from it, it is nothing compared to what he could do in his true form. And I have fought against his species before and leaped. Even though I could have had him as my housemate if crown's not the matter, you can't now at the time I wrote this script, or if this video come out in 2 months later in 2022, which I don't know yet. But what could have been better is if you can later have Aarox as your newest companion to fight alongside you, at least as a Daedra, but better in his true Ash Titan form. In fact, there is shamefully no new companions with this DLC, but instead there is a new addition armory system furnishing that you can get free as a collector style furnishing. Once you have it in your home, you can use it to save your builds or armory, including weapons, armor, potions, poisons, etc. And it starts by default in having 2 slots. And you can keep buying more slots to save more builds. Not to the wise, if you have no build saved in your armory, and if you click a blank slot, it erases the attributes of the character back to default. So make sure you know how to only use the armory to save and store builds. Now back to my experiences of the war against Dagon, despite the help and the journey I took to end the Daedric Prince's path of destruction of Nirn. I ended up forging alliances with numerous Daedra and Gamora that rebelled against Dagon, besides leaders of Aarox. I have learned the actual backstory of the Anchorite, who was born as Marion and destined as one of the 4 ambitions of Dagon. Not to mention the backstabbing and betrayal by another living ambition to the Sombran that selfishly ended up going rogue and going to the dark side and assisting Mayron's Dagon and going directly to Nirn, where I ended up fighting him. So I failed to contain and fight Dagon in his own realm of Oblivion, which is the Deadlands. I'm sure he knows how to bypass Fargrave in the assistance of Sombran. And the motive of Sombran's betrayal to become Dagon's newest general is the Daedric Prince can help Sombran in other ambitions to control their powers, and even unsuccessfully convert Nirn to the dark side with him, like Sombran was becoming so delusional before I unwillingly ended his life. But most importantly, I ended Mayron Dagon's campaign of taking over Nirn and banished him back to his cage in his realm. But as for Marion and the other living ambitions, well, Blue was acting a bit strange. She alienated everyone that she helped. It's nice to otherwise. The thing about it is that there is other living ambitions that ended up becoming mortals. As Lyran stripped all the powers of these 2 and gained them to herself, for some reason. I don't know if she's using her powers for good or evil. I don't know if she wants him to be the newest Daedric Prince, but she decides to keep it secret from me. Disappeared out of thin air, right in front of me. She could be in the void for all I know, but who knows. I give this DLC for the ending of the Gates of Oblivion saga 8 out of 10 jars of his sap. And this review is done like my campaign of Deadlands. You see, not only did I banished Mayron's Dagon from merging Nirn with his realm of Oblivion that is Deadlands, I have finally know who the hell his 4th ambition is. But the thing about it is that it's right under my nose the whole entire damn time. I have met the 4th ambition the minute I've entered through Fargrave, but not until later that I realised who that person is. It is, of course, like I said, Marion, also known as the Anchorite. I had ventured through hell, or whatever land that looks like hell, from the Deadlands, to investigate what's going on. I had put an end of Maroon's Dagon's mission to use all the four ambitions as weapons to get himself into Nirn. And to be quite frank with you, I felt really betrayed as one of the ambitions had, of course, invited Maroon's Dagon into this very planet of Nirn. But at least I put an end to it. And at least that I ended up banishing the Daedric Prince of Destruction and Decay from the very realm of Nirn. So therefore, thanks to my friends that I met, thanks to all the and speaking of the Daedra, not all of them are bad. Some are very helpful. And of course, Planet Nirn is safe once again. Thanks to me and a whole army of the people that I met. So anyway, what do you think of this review so far? Even though that this is the last ever DLC extension of 2021. Do you enjoy this review, or you know, if you do, don't only comment but also put a like, put a thumbs up to it, as in smashing that like button. Also, if you do like my content so far, make sure that you press the subscribe button. It would help me a lot more on growing this channel. It may not be much, but it would do a hell of a lot for me as a content creator. Also, the usual things that I usually put down, whether it's things on social media and all that kind of stuff, is on the description down below, as well as ways to give me money. Well, only if you choose to. If you want to friend me on PSN, my gamer tag is of course Bruzo 21. You probably would know every time that if you meet me, then that's my gamer tag. Or if you want to play with me or whatever. And since that the range is coming in, I'm going to wrap it up by saying thank you so much for watching this to the end. I had fun making this review as you were watching it, as much as I describe my entire adventure throughout both Fargrave and the Deadlands. You're all amazing, even if you were the first person, even if you wanted people to know or watch it to the end, or even subscribing. I erect the spine of so much gratitude, as in I thank you all. Because of you, you help my channel grow like a tree, from its seeds up to its highest of branches. In other words, I thank you. And as always, this is the most must-see and subscribe that going on YouTube, and the online ambassador of Black Marsh, Bruzo Dragonius, or should I say, Bruzo of House Dragonius. Wrap it up by saying thank you. Make sure you turn the notifications on so you'll be the first one to know when is my next video. And I'm going to wrap it up by saying these words. May the His guide you all, and bye for now.